Good evening and many thanks for joining us. You're watching QTV News, coming to you live from our studios along Kairaba Avenue. Our headlines this evening: the Gambia's Vice President, Dr. Aissatou Toure, on Monday started the Queen's Baton Relay in the Gambia. The Gambia Armed Forces on Wednesday began a 6-week selection training of Marine Commandos at the GAF Training School in Fajara. The Gambia Police Force on Wednesday received IT equipment worth 20,000 euros, equivalent to $1.2 million, jointly purchased by the German Federal Foreign Office and the EU delegation in the Gambia. And this year's World Food Day celebration coincided with Rural Women's Day. To mark the two occurrences, an event was commemorated in Basse URR, which brought together farmers and representatives from government, NGOs and international organizations. And in international news, as we mark 10 years since his public and brutal murder, we look back on what has happened to the Libya left behind by Muammar Gaddafi. Well, for more on these and other stories coming up, I'm Ansmane Sonyase. And now we take a look at the news in detail. The Gambia's Vice President, Dr. Aissatou Toure, on Monday started the Queen's Baton Relay in the Gambia. The baton will be in the country for 3 days and will be visiting 3 regions before it leaves for Sierra Leone. Babgarci reports.
The President began the relay from the State House to Makati Square, where a short ceremony was held before the relay officially began. Addressing the gathering in Banjul, the second Vice President of the Gambia National Olympic Committee, Lamin Kaba Bajo, said the Gambia is glad to be back in the Commonwealth of Nations and looking forward to a great performance by Team Gambia next year.
As we prepare for the upcoming games, I have firm belief in our athletes, and I'm sure that Team Gambia will aim high for success in Birmingham. As we count down to the games in Birmingham, I want us to celebrate the arrival of the Queen's Baton and enjoy ourselves in the spirit of its meaningful tradition.
Alhaji Abdoulaye Bax Toure, former Secretary General of the GNOC and Vice President of the Commonwealth Games Federation, gave a brief background of the Gambia's joining and participating in the Commonwealth Games.
The Gambia's participation, Your Excellency, in the Commonwealth Games dates back to 1970 in Edinburgh, Scotland. And the late Sir Fai made us proud when he won the Gambia's first bronze medal in high jump. This was followed by a silver medal Commonwealth Youth Games in Pune, India, when Mr. Suwaibu Sane won a silver medal in the 100 meters. The Gambia also, Your Excellency, became the first country in Africa to host the Commonwealth Games Federation General Assembly in 2008, and all 71 member countries of the Commonwealth attended that great meeting in Banjul.
The British High Commissioner to the Gambia, David Belcroft, said the Baton Relay is a unique way of reuniting and bringing the Commonwealth of Nations under one umbrella.
The baton will travel for 294 days over 140,000 kilometres, connecting communities in every corner of the Commonwealth, embracing unique cultures and sharing stories. The collective journey will ignite hope, solidarity and collaboration for the next generation, with these stories leaving us all inspired to take on the challenge that matter most to us.
For Vice President Dr. Aissatou Toure, who delivered the President's speech, said the government is delighted to be back in the Commonwealth and challenge our athletes to give a better performance in the Games next year.
It is my honor to start off the relay in the Gambia, which is one of the oldest traditions of Commonwealth Games since it was first done in the 1958 Games in Wales. The hosting of the relay reminds me of the decision taken by my government to rejoin the Commonwealth of Nations in 2017. It was a decision that was very simple, as we were able to rejoin the over 2 billion strong population of the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth Games, whilst encouraging healthy competition, also helps to renew the strong bonds of brotherhood and friendship among each other.
The baton then took off from the Makati Square onto the streets of Banjul, where officials, athletes and school children identified took turns to run with the baton, a lifetime opportunity for these chosen ones. The baton ended in the hands of the mayor of Banjul, Rohey Malick Lowe, who said her office is glad to receive the Queen's baton relay.
As a mayor and a capital city, we are pleased to be in solidarity with this tradition. This continues to solidify and strengthen the friendship and bond among member countries, showing the solidarity we continue to have for each other.
The baton then left Banjul to the Denton Bridge, where the deputy mayor of KMC took over from her counterpart and will carry out the same activities in her region. Babukar Sy, QTV News.
The Gambia Armed Forces on Wednesday began a 6-week selection training of Marine Commandos at the GAF Training School in Fajara. The selection training will be conducted by the British Army short-term training team of the 42nd Royal Marine Commandos. Omar Pijalo attended the opening, and this is his report.
This 6-week intensive training is to select potential candidates for future commando training. The 6-week-long training will focus on basic soldiering skills, medical training, fighting in build-up areas, and physical fitness. In his opening statement, the commandant of the Gambia Armed Forces Training School, Major Abdoulaye Ba, said the training is to assess and develop the Gambia Armed Forces capabilities on advanced infantry operations and to enhance the skills of the participants in conducting high-risk operations.
Please note that the changing nature of this training requires dropping of participants who could not meet the minimum acceptable standards. The successful completion of this training will determine the suitability of each participant in taking part in future commando trainings and will set the conditions for the formation of a commando unit. It will equally enhance the professional capabilities of the participants.
The officer commanding the 4-2 Commando Royal Marine, Captain David Leach, has this to say.
It's to you, the participants. Good effort so far. We've been impressed. You've shown determination and a good spirit. You'll need to show a lot more of that as we work forward. Okay? We expect 100% effort and commitment from you. If you can give us that, you will do well in the rest of the training. Last thing I want to say is remember, it pays to be a winner.
Representing the Chief of Defense Staff, the Director of Military Intelligence and Security, Colonel Musa Trawale, thanked the British government through the British High Commissioner to the Gambia for providing the necessary support for this critical capacity building for GAF.
The transformative agenda that the Gambia Armed Forces has set for itself over the past 5 years or thereabout is in line with the desire to redirect our country back on course towards the path of meaningful growth and development. Hence, it is part of the vision of the Chief of Defense Staff in ensuring that the armed forces is put on a better footing so as to be able to fulfill its constitutional mandate of protecting and preserving the territorial integrity and sovereignty of this country.
The Deputy British High Commissioner to the Gambia, Joshua Colborne, said a state that lacks the basic military capabilities complemented by the right training is exposing itself to security risk. The successful completion of this training for 44 participants, including officers and other ranks, will pave way for future commando training, thus the need for participants to take the training seriously. Reporting for KTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
Now, the Gambia Police Force on Wednesday received IT equipment worth €20,000, equivalent to $1.2 million. As Alucicio reports, the equipment was jointly purchased by the German Federal Foreign Office and the European Union delegation in the Gambia.
The equipment is procured under the project dubbed Police Program Africa, joint German-EU support to the Gambia Police Force, being implemented by GIZ, the German government's official public service provider for technical assistance and development cooperation. The procured IT equipment includes PCs and external monitors, laptops, UPS devices, printers, a projector and a screen, and smartphones. The security sector is critical for the further democratic transition of the Gambia, hence the need for the police to serve citizens and to be fully accountable. Jan Pfeiffer, country component manager of the police program in Africa, said the support is focused at 6 key areas: human resource management, strengthening relations between the police and the civil society and public, among others.
We want to strengthen accountability of the police and also support the further introduction of community policing. And we're going to work together with the Internal Discipline and Complaints Unit. I think that's the official name, but please correct me, when we strengthen the accountability. We receive additional funding from the European Union, and this will allow us to work on rehabilitation of infrastructure. So we will refurbish, rehabilitate, or reconstruct police stations. We will procure equipment. We will provide additional trainings, and we're also going to work on SGBV, that's sexual and gender-based violence issues.
Ms. Jibril Bonner, German's Charge Affairs in the Gambia, expresses appreciation for the cooperation between the Federal Republic of Germany and the Gambia in the ongoing security sector reform. Bonner, who arrived in the country a couple of weeks ago, is determined to further strengthen the cooperation to have a more proactive and law-abiding security service.
The security sector as such is a critical area. Only when public institutions serve the citizens and respect human rights and the rule of law can the Gambian people benefit from the change they initiated themselves some years ago. And we, the German government and our international partners, are committed to work together with you as you wish and as needed to achieve this goal.
Receiving the equipment, Momodu Sow, Deputy Inspector General of Police, welcomed the support as the police continue to go through transformation since the change of government in 2017.
We have a vision, and that vision is to ensure within a very short time or a very limited time, we transform the Gambia Police Force into a digital police network and ensure that we join our partners across the globe to have the mindset and the concept of the 21st policing concept.
Though the equipment is not sufficed to serve the current needs of the police, however, it is a good start towards addressing the resource gap at the police. It is hoped that the police will use the equipment for the purpose it is meant for. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
And we will now take a short commercial break, but don't go away, we will be right back.
InTown is back. QCell's MiFi router. Get the best MiFi in the country for just $2,800 and connect up to 15 users with 4G internet speeds and a long-lasting battery life. So rush now to any of our customer care locations and get the best for less while stocks last. For more info, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Boss, the Gambia's quality network. We innovate, others follow.
The biggest mobile money service in the Gambia has taken mobile banking to the next level. Now, you can link your Q Money wallet with your bank account. Yes, link your Ajib or EcoBank accounts with your Q Money wallet and get instant access to your cash anytime. No need to queue at the bank anymore. Transfer funds from your bank account to your wallet or your wallet to your bank account using Q Money Bank Link is the fastest, most secure, and convenient way to transfer funds between your wallet and bank account. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunyu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back from the short commercial break. Be reminded you're watching QTV News and we're broadcasting live from our studios along Kairaba Avenue. I am Ansmane Sonyasi. Now, this year's World Food Day celebration coincided with Rural Women's Day. To mark the two occurrences, this event was commemorated in Basse URR, bringing together farmers, representatives from government, NGOs, international organizations and the public to reflect on nutritious, affordable and healthy food. Alaji A.F. Jallo was there and Hina reports.
Annually, World Food Day is commemorated globally on the 16th October to raise public awareness on issues surrounding hunger and malnutrition. The celebration coincided with Rural Women's Day to reflect on rural women's contribution to food production and food security. The event brought together all the stakeholders to celebrate the day to create awareness and act on behalf of those who suffer from hunger and to ensure healthy diets in the world. Delivering the welcoming address, the governor of URR, Sambaba, said the people of URR are proud to be associated with this important event.
This event has an extra significance and worth celebrating as it coincides with the Rural Women's Day commemoration here in Basse. Rural Women's Day is observed every year on the 15th October to realize the role of women in food production and food security. Given the role of rural Gambian women in agriculture, the people of this region, URR, are indeed very proud to associate with this event. Therefore, on behalf of the entire people of Upper River region, I unreservedly welcome all the dignitaries, delegates and participants to this important occasion.
The FAO country rep, Ms. Mushibidu Rampedi, gave some highlights of the theme of this year's World Food Day celebration.
The theme for this year's celebration is Our Actions Are Our Future. Better production, better nutrition, a better environment, and a better life. This is a call for the transformation of the agri-food systems to ensure that everyone, everywhere, has access to enough, affordable, safe, and nutritious food, and that we are all able to live an active and healthy life. We are aware that more than 3 billion people around the world, which is almost 40% of the world population, are not able to afford a healthy diet.
The Deputy Permanent Secretary, Minister of Agriculture, Fatou Jammeh Touré, read a statement on behalf of her minister.
This year's World Food Day provides a unique opportunity for a sober reflection on FAO and partners' efforts towards achieving zero hunger in the Gambia and the world at large. The day is also a chance to call greater commitment to achieving the Sustainable Development Goal 2. It is time to look into the future we need to build together through better production, better nutrition, better environment, and better life.
While millions of people go hungry, vast quantities of food are lost every day, either spoiled during production or transportation, or thrown into household waste bins. Up to 10% of the global greenhouse gas emission is associated with food that is consumed. Food waste is filing up the world's landfills. There is need for improved storage and infrastructure to avoid food loss, as well as access to technology that matches agro-food supply and demand. For QTV News, I am Alaji A.F. Jallo.
But we're still going to stay with Alaji A.F. Jallo because the Regional Youth Committee in URR recently organized an interfaith dialogue with their stakeholders, especially young people, to take stock of their challenges and the progress in youth development in the region.
This initiative brought together national and youth group members from all 7 administrative areas of the region to discuss and scrutinize their activity and financial dealings during this year in office. After giving the report from February 2020 to June 2021, the Regional Youth Chairman, Boubacar Sidibe, explained what necessitated the activity.
So far we've inherited not a good system, but this accountability here today has shown the masses that, of course, my committee came and of course we are struggling, but also it is depicting the picture of what good leadership that is to the committee. I believe a good leadership is a team that is willing to come out to the electorates and try to talk to them and try to tell them so far how things are going and how things are unfolding as it goes. And I believe if this is introduced in every committee, I believe things could work as expected. But honestly, I believe this transparency today, that is transparency and accountability that is happening at the chambers here, it's going to be a milestone that is achieved, and also encouraging my fellow guys also, that is the other RYC chairpersons, also to venture into it. It's very productive.
Representative of youth organizations, Kumba Jallo and Gibril Mani, both applauded the committee.
This RYC have done a lot to this region. Let me just say a lot to the nation and much more to the youths of URA. They have bring unity, strength among youths of this region.
They have done very well for the young people of this region. I will rate them at 100%. For the simple reason that they have come, called the young people of this region to give report of the activities that they have done for the past 1 year.
During this session, participants raised questions that required responses from the committee.
Which mechanism do you take action towards that, or have you had dialogue with those committee to understand the missing money, whether you find them or how?
But my questions are, number one, concern about this, you have done series of activities, but regional aspect, they are so minimal. I can see that many of them are from national aspect. What is your mechanism towards that, so that at least you can create your own activities, which you know that at least you can implement in the region here?
Mr. Chairman, like you made mention of groups not reporting to committees. So what mechanism or method can you use in order for you to sensitize the group?
RYC, I think we've done a lot. That is supporting the region, the district committees, because by right, the district committees are supposed to do more of the work, and we try to supervise. So supporting all these districts, which means they've already provided like 7 programs or 7 activities within the region.
The Regional Youth Structure is a public agency established by an Act of Parliament in 2000. Its mandate is to mobilize, coordinate and supervise youth organizations, implement regional and national youth programs, and advise government through the National Youth Council on Youth Matters. For QTV News, I am Alaji F. Jallo.
And from the report by Alaji F. Jallo, we will now take a look at international news in a moment. So today, the 20th of October, marks a decade since Libyan President Muammar Gaddafi's 40-plus year rule was ended by his brutal murder in 2011. 10 years later, the African oil giant, once among the biggest economies on the continent, remains unstable amidst tensions and deepening economic hardship facing its population. Mahmoud Lamin Choi tells us more.
On October 20th, 2011, after 6 months of an uprising leading to a bloody siege, Muammar Gaddafi, Libya's one-time ruler, was finally captured and killed in his hometown of Sirte, where he was found hiding by rebel fighters in a concrete drainage pipe. Preceding this dramatic and bloody history of Libya was a stable and economic prosperous nation with the implementation of ambitious social programs in the areas of education, health, housing, public works and subsidies for electricity and basic foodstuffs. The policies translated into substantial improvement in Libya's economy, from being one of the poorest countries in Africa in 1969 to being the continent's leader in its Human Development Index in 2011, evidence to which also is the 2010 United Nations Development Programme, which considered Libya a high development country in the Middle East and North Africa. After a decade of bloody conflict, such luxury of an economically flourishing nation has diminished in a country hailed as holder of Africa's largest proven oil reserves with only 7 million people, with its economy shattered, leaving its population trapped by violence and poverty. Libya's 2011 uprising is believed to have been inspired by similar events in the so-called Arab Spring and followed the arrest of a Libyan human rights campaigner. What is called the biggest mass uprising in Libya broke out in February 2011 against Colonel Muammar Gaddafi's regime and escalated into a civil war in bloody battle for territory between government and rebel forces in the west and east of the oil-rich country. After a United Nations Security Council's decision to protect civilians, there was a military intervention by NATO, which unleashed a complex civil war that dragged in multiple foreign powers. The war, which was branded by some as a revolution, never brought change for the country, but a significant loss of economic potential estimated at over $171 billion from 2011 to the present. The toppling of long-term leader Muammar Gaddafi in 2011 led to a power vacuum and instability, with no authority in full control since 2014, paving way for another conflict of a bloody political tug-of-war between UN-recognized government of National Accord based in Tripoli and a separate eastern-based administration led by Khalifa Haftar, each of whom was backed by an array of militias and foreign powers. However, in October 2020, the two rival factions in UN-led talks in Geneva signed to a permanent ceasefire agreement and planned election in December 2021. A decade of war has left a legacy of destruction on a massive scale, leaving an estimated more than 800,000 people in need of humanitarian assistance, according to the United Nations, which highlights protection, access to critical services like healthcare and education, as well as basic household goods and commodities, including food, as being things that are absent in the country. Those who longed for Gaddafi's removal point to his brutal suppression of opposition, including the execution of protesting university students. However, looking at what the country has become since his removal, the question must be asked, was it worth it? Mohamed Lamin Chai, QTV News.
Quite unfortunate. Well, I'm afraid that is all about it, but do join us at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Until then, on behalf of the entire production team, thanks for watching.